to go and do some, Microsoft authorizations and such. So thank you very much. We are excited to have you here. Welcome. We are in the BECU Home Rewards quarterly partner meeting. I'm Melanie Weidenbach. Most of you know me. I am with Prime Alliance Real Estate Services, and I'm joined here by my cohort, Gina Kelly. And Gina is a Senior Business Development Manager of Mortgage Services with BECU. Gina, are you there?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity every quarter. We're trying to take a few minutes to first off celebrate what we've achieved in the program, kind of talk about any updates we have in the program. And then our objective is each quarter to share something of value. And then it's also your time to share. So we'll kind of have some time for all of those things. I'm going to start our meeting off with, and everybody can see my screen, right? I'm going to start our meeting off with talking about doing a couple celebrations on just our fourth quarter, which seems far in arrears, but we did not celebrate fourth quarter yet. And then we're going to go over the full year 2024 before we go into an agenda that will include some market and economic updates. I'm going to add a couple things, and we are going to have a couple agents who are going to share, and this is going to be an opportunity for all of you to share also. Reminder, because we have quite a few people in here, if you are not muted right now, can you please mute yourselves until it's time to talk, because sometimes we'll get some feedback. So, we will have some open dialogue, but if you're not muted, then please just look in your little box, and if your little microphone isn't muted, then please do that. And I have a couple of you that aren't muted here, okay. And so let's start with our quarter four performance. I am going to start with looking at the performance and celebrating some of our real estate broker partners, and I'm going to hand it off to Gina to celebrate some of our MLO partners. First, I want to talk about high level. What did we do in 2024? We funded over $90 million in volume, so that is very exciting. Closed 203 transactions and over $558,000 back in the pocket of the member, which is really the number that we celebrate. That's so exciting, and that's really what I like to focus on. Our awards are weighted based on we do look at closed volume, but I always like to look at how much money went back in the pocket of the member and how many members did we help. So for quarter four, I'm going to go over our quarter four performers. We have Kelly Lagaska, Stacy Winkler, Amy Samuelson Ingalls, Nazmi, I'm not even going to try to do your last name. I've done this before, and I've done it at other awards, and I always messed up. So we know who you are. And Claudia Cunningham. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, and congratulations. This was just for quarter four. We're still going to go over our full year 2024, and I'll go into a little bit more results on this. I'm going to pass this over to Gina, who's going to help us celebrate the mortgage loan originators for the fourth quarter.
Thank you, Melanie, and thank you everyone for joining today, and congratulations on some great work that we're all doing as a team. So for Q4, for top MLOs, mortgage loan originators, we have Ian Maurer, number one. Ian, congratulations. 4 units, $2,060,700. We have Melissa Severance, congratulations, number two, 4 units, 1.4. Nikki Henley, number three, 3 units, 1.398. Bethany, great job, number 4, 3 units, 1.3. And Susan Ahmad Eldon, 2 units with 900,000. Hey, thanks for your work with a great start, right? So appreciate your work. Looks like, did I miss somebody at the bottom of the slide? I'm sorry, you're on mute, Melanie. Oh, thank you. One moment, please.
No, my mouse was lost, but yeah, something happened with the screen. I'm gonna stop sharing and share again because it cut out, all of a sudden my screen perspective
Oh,
changed.
yes.
I don't know why I did that. So hold on a second. It was like the view. There we go, right? Now I'm gonna share it
Yeah.
again. Okay, so now I'm going to share and you can see it now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, all of a sudden it just moved.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, no, I think we ended with Susan.
Yep.
So we are going to go into our home rewards real estate partners. This is for all of 2024. So these are our top performers who were our top closing brokers for 2024. I'm going to start with number 10 is Dawson Van Pelt, closed units of 5. And I'm going to focus on, we had closed volume of 2.6, but rewards to the member of over 13,000. Number 9 was Luke Van Pelt. You can see they're twins. So, funny here. Van Pelt closed units of 6, 3.6 million, and rewards to member of 19,600. Desiree Jones had 8 closed units, 3.6 in closed volume, and over 19,000 back to the member. And then we had Jeff Smith, 8 units closed, over almost 4 million in closed volume, and over 22,000 back to the member. And then we want to go over we have number 6. That was Claudia Cunningham with 7 closed units, over 4 million in closed volume, and over 18,000 back to the member. Steve Snyder, thank you. 6 closed units, over 4.5 million in volume, and over 24,000 back to the member. Oh, we have a little typo here. I didn't catch here. Carrie Freeman, 6 closed units, volume of 4.7 and 23,000 back to the member. The extra dollar sign is just, showing how much money we put in their pocket. Then I want to go through our top 3 closing brokers for 2024. Amy Samuelson Ingalls, 11 closed units, over almost 5.5 million in closed volume, and over $28,000 back to the member. Thank you so much, Amy. And Casey, 10 closed units, closed volume of almost 6.5 million, and over $32,000 back to the member. And then Tanya Morton, closed units of 13. I think the Paris team told me they like to give her all the difficult ones, like if it's challenging that Tanya will close it. So I guess she got them closed. Volume of over 7 million and rewards back into members' pockets of almost 36,000. So thank you very much. We had so many people that we don't have in our top 10 here because really our contributions were really spread across our entire agent population. So I really want to recognize the achievements of those that fell in there, but I really want to thank you all for your achievements in 2024. That's what contributed to our over $500,000 going back to our members in 2024. So thank you so much. I'm going to pass it over to Gina, who's going to go over our top mortgage loan originators.
Great. Thank you, Melanie. All right. So for our top 24 mortgage loan originator partners, we have Josh Thompson, number 10. Thank you, Josh. 6 units, 3.1 million. Nikki Henley, number 9. We have 7 units with 3.1. That's great. Lauren, number 8, 7 units with 3.2. Thank you. Number 7, Susan Ahmad Eldin. We have 9 units at 3.8. Great work, everyone. Number 6, Tina Horn Gomez, 10 units at 3.9, almost 4 million. Great job. Carla Needler, number 5 for 10 units for 4.6. And Eric Hood, number 4, 9 units with almost 5 million, 4.9. Amazing. All right. So now we're into the top tier here, and we have Joe Haddendorf, closed 12 units for 5.7. Way to go, Joe. Amazing. And Ian Maurer, 14 units, 7.6 million. Amazing work. Jenny Laughlin as well closed 19 units at 9.6. Wow. And I also, oops,
You're good here.
am I good to
Yes.
mention just some
Yes.
other things real
Yes,
quick?
please.
I just want to call out and say thank you to all of you who are participating with homebuyer classes, co-marketing activities together. We've really seen some great successes, and you're out there in the communities, and we just appreciate all your work. So I just wanted to do a big shout out and say thank you to all of you. Yeah.
Thank you
And
very much. And I think that's the what you're mentioning, Gina, around those who are doing homebuyer classes. When we're looking at the top agents, a lot of those top agents were also top promoters and
Yeah.
top participators in the homebuyer classes.
Uh-huh.
yes,
And someone there isn't muted. um, the Maria, can you kind of look through those, please? So the those who are participating in the homebuyer classes are seeing real results from home buyers coming out and being active buyers and being those members becoming mortgage clients. So I really encourage you strongly, if you are not already doing homebuyer classes, I'm going to talk about some folks that have contributed to Home Rewards and to the program in a different way here in a moment. And a lot of these people on this list are people who are actively doing those home buyer classes. So those are resulting in real closed transactions, and those opportunities are very tangible. And I really strongly encourage you, if you're not doing the co-marketing with your mortgage loan originator, or if you have not had the opportunity to do a home buyer class, it's super easy. They have an approval process, but ultimately there is a structure for it. So a lot of it is supplied for you once you go through the approval process. You know all the information anyway because you are the subject matter experts. And ultimately, it's an opportunity to get in front of these people who have raised their hand and said, I'm in the community, I want help, to help, as someone help me facilitate this process. And they have proven to become very loyal clients. So I strongly encourage you to do that.
thank you,
One thing,
Melanie.
yeah, go ahead.
May I ask if Rob is on the call, if Rob would like to add anything? Rob, are you with us today?
Good morning, everyone. I'm here. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I just want to
wonderful.
congratulate everybody that is continuing to work this program. I totally echo what has been said in terms of the home buying classes. Partnering up to do that, I think, is really a kind of a big picture view of how to use the program to everybody's advantage, including buyers, our members, the real estate agent, and our mortgage advisors. So kudos for those that are really embracing that and leaning into that, and we're seeing the results. So I just thank you and just encourage others that haven't tried that yet to put that in your business plan uh, uh, now, right? Because there's no better time to start doing that than right now with the purchase season upon us. So yeah, just wanted to echo what's been said and totally wholeheartedly support those efforts. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Anything else, Gina, from your end?
I think that's good, and I just again want to say thank you. And we're looking forward to continuing to see all the activities in 25. We're already booking classes out through May and June right now. So as Rob said, tis the season. So if you want some more information about the program, reach out to a mortgage advisor or myself. I'm here to support. So thank you, Melanie.
Thank you. And I know that Rob and Gina would echo what we're talking about this next slide, bringing it back. This is really a lot of, some of these results do come from the home buyer program. Some of these are from your organic customers. But really what we want to celebrate in this next set is those agents who have really seen value in the partnerships, in the trust they formed with their mortgage loan originator, with the partners that they formed in BECU. So this has really been partnerships that have been formed between realtor partners, our real estate partners, and our partners at BECU. And as a result, these brokers, when they have prospective clients that might be from outside the program, they might just be organic from their sphere, they are seeing value in bringing those clients back to BECU and having them, trusting them with their client to navigate the mortgage process. And so we want to thank those brokers who have referred back to the program in 2024. So we have a list of brokers that have referred back to the program in 2024. I'm going to go through and thank those, and then I'm going to do a couple of special things at the end. So thank you very much to Claudia Cunningham, John Short, Amy Samuelson Ingalls, Brenda Cortada, Jim Clifton, and Ruta Bastine, who all contributed, brought their clients back to the program in 2024 and partnered those with a BSU mortgage loan originator. And my mouse is being a little. We also have Jen McConnell, Dawson Van Pelt, Sally Trick Collins, Nazmi. I told you again, I'm not going to try that one. Laura Pepperitz and Steve James, who all brought clients back to the program in 2024. And then a few that I want to highlight for us. James Smith had 4 clients that he trusted to bring and refer to the program in 2024. So thank you very much, James. I know how much you each invest in your clients, and I just want to thank you for the trust that you've built with your mortgage loan partners. And then we have Kelly Lagaska, who has really leveraged that home buyer program, and she's referred 9 clients to the program in 2024. Thank you, Kelly. I know Kelly has presented to us many times. It's kind of started all the way back to when we did that event back at Lumen Field a couple years ago, and we talked about the partnership and how that can really culminate into something that is beyond just, it's really a trusted relationship that you develop with your clients, you develop with your BC MLO, you are identifying ways to grow your business together cohesively, and that is what has resulted for both Kelly with her 9 clients, and then our top referring broker, Ann Casey, really the same thing. Ann has also been highly engaged in all aspects of what BECU has to offer, whether it's home buyer, really developing that relationship on the mortgage side with her BECU partners. And so we really just want to thank all of you that brought deals back to the program. That is really the crux of it. It really is a partnership. It's not just a referral program. This is a trusted partnership. And so that is really just symbolic of what this partnership is. So thank you all so much. Okay, so I'm going to share just a couple updates that I have and I'm going to ask a couple agents to weigh in. I think that there's a couple of people who I already picked on and I think are going to help me out at the end of this. But I have a couple slides I want to start with because I had the opportunity, and probably many of you have also, to hear from Lawrence Yun, who is the chief economist of NAR, and he's a very trusted voice in the from an economic standpoint in the real estate industry. So I want to share a couple of his slides. We don't have time today to go through his whole presentation, but I certainly have it. So if anybody would like a copy of it afterwards, because really what I want to do is just do a kind of a brief update from our end. We'll do a little bit of a market update, and that's going to correlate with some things that BECU has to offer. Al Brewer is going to share with us some appraisal information later in this that really does correlate to the market and economy. So we all know this one's no surprise to us that the last couple of years were historically some of the most unit challenged years in the real estate business from a standpoint of, we went from kind of a normal year in 2019. Then, after COVID, we had the kind of artificial unit growth that occurred, went all the way through 2021. We really saw that boom, and then saw that through almost the first half until June of 2022. And then in June of 2022 is when we saw the units start to decline. And then it's kind of been fairly consistent through 23 and 24. And so we'll kind of talk about what's expected for 25 based on, there's a lot of different opinions on that, but this is from NAR. First, I think we've all seen these numbers, but I think it's good to share. I think it's good to remind our clients that despite the fact that there might be challenges in the real estate market, there's always opportunity. And at the end of the day, the investment is always a good one. And we're going to talk about that for a couple of reasons. But one is, when you're reminding your clients when they're, you're navigating decisions with them, how much value how much their value has grown since the first quarter of 2020 in Washington State, up 49.5% since the first quarter of 2020. So home prices have gained 49.5% since then. And as a result, household equity has grown to record highs, and we're at over $35 trillion in household equity ending 2024, and then continuing to grow as we go into 2025. But one good reminder for us, I think, is just, when people are concerned about rates and they're, is it the right time to buy? And, am I prepared to buy? Is just the reminder for all of us, just that the impact of home ownership on wealth and on generational wealth, and the median net worth between owners and renters continues to grow for owners, and it is declining for renters. So, and homeowners median net worth in the United States right now is $415,000, and a renter is about $10,000. That number's actually went down a little bit over the last couple of years. So that's just an affirmation really to all of us as to what you do, and why we do it, and continuing to grow homeownership. And I think that the Home Rewards program is an excellent opportunity for us to do that. And then BECU has so many other programs that partner with the Home Rewards program that allow us to grow homeownership. And I think that's really a big grassroots part of this program. Although we serve all sorts of clients, I think it's wonderful for us to remind us that the goals we're helping families achieve by helping them achieve homeownership. So we had seen this, I talked about June of 2022, and that's when the number of home sales began to decline. And we saw that all the way from June of 2022, basically through summer of last year. Then we did see a positive trajectory in the fourth quarter of last year, where there was a couple of things, there were some improvements temporarily in the rate environment in the fourth quarter of last year, and that helped home sales through January of this year. We had a little bit of maybe a stall in February, but I think that will continue to see improvements. But traditionally, that has really been a result of the rate environment and then jobs. But now what has changed over the last few months, in addition to that, or over the last 6 months, is that one of the constraints on the markets over the last year or so has been inventory. And so we're seeing an improvement in inventory. Therefore, home buyers have more to select from. So some of those folks who are on the sidelines, despite the fact that maybe they had more optimism around rates and maybe they they didn't get to what that, their target number in their mind was, having more selection out there has also allowed families to make, decisions that are right for them. So we are seeing an improvement in the inventory, and that's going to be reflected in some local numbers we talk about. And then I'm going to have you guys, a couple people, talk about what's going on in their submarkets, because real estate is local, right? We talk a lot about people being rate locked, and so oops, why is that not showing the it's really weird. Like there used to be a slide, a number over there, Maria, that showed like the percentages, and it's disappeared. So the number of people that are rate locked, I'm supposed to have, there's a little numbers over here that actually did show earlier today. It's really strange, but I can kind of speak contextually to the reality is that 35.2% of homeowners, of our 88 million homeowners in the United States, don't have any mortgage at all. So those people, rates don't matter to them, right? So we have to look at this and then we have a portion of homeowners who are in that 5 to 6 range, And I think that's the 11.6. And then we have the, I'll actually send this to you guys because I don't know why that slid off. It slid off between our meeting this, or when Gina and I exchanged this morning and right now, somehow it came off the slide. But ultimately, the big picture is that even though there are a lot, still a component, probably about 20% of people, 25% of people that are really in that, like I'm in 3.5 and under range. People now have had enough time where they've had life events happening. They've had marriages, they've had divorces, they've had deaths in the family, they've had babies. And so there, with the rise in inventory and the fact that there's less people, are kind of being rate locked, especially as we've seen kind of some improvements in the rate environment, because there's quite a few in that 5 to 6 range. The Thank you, Al. um, I'll share the slide for you guys there. Ultimately, there's been a lot of homeowners sitting on the sidelines who are, home buyers, prospective home buyers sitting on the sidelines that have had life events that are going to cause them to transact. So what does NAR forecast for 2025? They're forecasting a 9% increase in existing home sales, 11 per. This is just a forecast a couple weeks back, so this is a fairly new one. And so 9% this year, they're forecasting 13% for 2026, 11% in new home sales, 8% in 2026. And then a more moderate home price increase, so 2%. Obviously, real estate's local, so but I mean, if we're looking at the last month or so, that's kind of in line with what we're seeing here locally, also from a standpoint of median home price increase. And then mortgage rates, I mean, their predictions are, near 6, it's sometime later this year, but overall, that's what they're projecting. So what are we seeing in our local markets? You guys know that better than anything, but Northwest MLS, so each county is a little bit different, but looking at the entire MLS, we have people in a lot of different geographies here, is up 30.5% from January of 2024. And that is 2.75 months of inventory versus 0.61 months of inventory in January 2022. So there's a lot more for people to select from now, but it's still a healthy number. Active listings are up 44.6% from January 24. You're going to see a little bit different number in Al's because he's referring to King County. So just when you're seeing that disparity in numbers, that's just because I'm referring to the whole MLS and his is King County, but both numbers are correct. And closed sales saw double-digit growth in Northwest MLS from October to January of 24. I have a couple of folks here that have volunteered to share a little bit of updates on what's going on in their local markets. What are you seeing in your submarkets from a standpoint of, are there any trends you have a willingness to share? I can see James right now, so I'm going to pick on him first, and then I'll pass it over to one of the Van Pelts. You're on mute, James.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Testing. Okay. So hello everybody. So what I'm seeing with sellers, the last month has really picked up with my listings. I know a lot of people are talking about, multiple offers and stuff like that. I'm hearing about them, but I'm not seeing them. I am seeing my listings sell quickly within the first week with, good solid offers. Some of these offers are even over full price to get the seller to accept it. I'm seeing about 20% of homes that are hitting the market have offer review dates. I think when a home hits the market, I mean, the speed is the key. I mean, you got to get there, and get your foot in the door and get your offer on the table. And a lot of times the sellers are taking them. Again, I'm just talking about my market. Your market could be a lot different. So when it comes to buyers, I've seen a lot of buyers attending open houses. Not all of them have representation, so there's some good opportunities there to get clients. Buyers are even willing to let I've double-ended a couple deals, right? Where back in the past that wasn't really a thing. So I am seeing more of that. Buyers are getting concessions. If a home is sitting there past a week, I mean, the seller is giving up some concessions, right? They're giving up closing costs. I mean, that's just the way the market has been going. I do have buyers sitting on the sidelines, but with the interest rates creeping down within the last, month or so, my phone is ringing. I'm back out showing buyers property. So that's a good thing. What else? And I think that's about it right now.
Awesome, James. I thank you for that update because it really, I think that's really, so is your primary area kind of like South King County, North Pierce? Is that you do a
Yes.
lot of areas, but your primary market area?
Yep, South King County and Pierce County. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, I really appreciate that because I think it really helps. A lot of times on the MLO side, they're seeing kind of the lag, right? Like you're seeing when things are already under contract. So you're getting the loan officers they get lag measures. They don't necessarily, get feedback on what's going on in the market when people are kind of starting and beginning their process. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to share and kind of give them a sense for what's going on market generally. Well, we might have some more questions for you, but I'm going to pass it over to is Luke or Dawson on here?
We're both on the call together.
Okay.
So this is Dawson, and yeah, I'm echoing kind of what James is saying. He did a great job, but on the listing side of things, I'm suddenly getting a lot of phone calls from past clients that are wanting to list their house. They're starting to think about, listing their house and in spring and summer. So I'd say the last 3 weeks or so, I've definitely seen my personal market pick up a lot. Yeah, and then this is Luke. On the buying side, with the interest rates coming down, kind of as Melanie and James said, spring is out, the sun's out, so days are getting a little longer. I've talked to a couple of lenders, and though rates are down, their current buyers are having more confidence, but they haven't quite seen the huge increase in mortgage applications quite yet. But once rates stabilize, they expect that to come into play. So the reason I bring this up is I would encourage your buyers, your active buyers, to take action sooner than later. So they may not be aware of the sense of urgency that the market's going to get a lot more competitive. So their best opportunities are probably now to avoid maybe a more multiple offer situations. So maybe giving them a sense of urgency to take action will be helpful while you're shopping with your buyers.
I think that's a good point because so looking at where James is or where you guys are, sometimes the multiple offers and things like that, like they'll start more central in King County and kind of spread outwards, right? Like because it's kind of going to be based on inventory. So I was in a sales meeting yesterday in a real estate office in West Seattle, and we were looking at information from the prior week. And in that prior week, 18 of 44 closed units in West Seattle, Area 140, had went above list price. And in those that had multiple offers, it was averaging 3.5% above list price, and 40% of new listings had offer review dates. So I think we're just starting to see more of those trends that kind of start in certain pockets and then they spread out. Like James is already seeing some of those trends and you're starting to see some of those trends. And if you're not seeing them in your markets, then probably if you don't get your buyers out there soon, they're gonna, they're gonna be in a more competitive situation. You're right. Is there anybody else that would like to share? We'd love to hear about what's going on in a couple more people's submarkets. If anybody has a willingness to share, because like we said, every submarket is not seeing the same trends right now. Can't see if there's any hands. You're all shy. Thank you. I'm not gonna, I think we kind of have a good cohesive, oh, go ahead. I think we have a good sense of the overall market, and I think that's going to give us a good handoff to go to our next presenter. And I'm going to let Gina go ahead and introduce this one for me.
Thank you, Melanie, and thank you for the market updates, James and Van Pelt team. We really appreciate it. It's good information to know. And along with what you just shared, we have Al Brewer today from our team that is going to share some insights on appraisal updates. He is Director of Member Direct Mortgage Sales. He works with our loan originators in the member direct department, but you also may know him too because he was a senior manager, excuse me, in mortgage sales covering the Bellevue Northeast to Bellingham. So recently he has been promoted. So congratulations, Al, and we look forward to hearing from you today. Thank you.
Thanks, Gina. Welcome, everybody. I've got some market updates from our BECU appraisal partners. So bear with me. It's a lot of data, but here we go. So overall, new listings surged in January, which turned the tide from 3 consecutive months of declines. Pending transactions also increased, and that stabilized prior declines in home inventory. And we're seeing evidence of an early spring cycle, which is bringing some welcome activity into the local market. So I think it's going to be a really strong spring this year. So getting local, King County, new listings surged by 163% in January after falling in December. Pending transactions also up, so 42.81%. New listings are outpacing pending sales, which is good news for the market. And inventory inched upward from a 1-month supply in December to 1.2 months in January, so a little more options for buyers out there. The median list price is up 7%, reaching $950 in January, if you can believe it. So list price almost at $1 million there, and that's 5% above January of last year. On average, King County homes took 45 days to sell in January, up from 37 days in December, and the median sales price closed 1.4% below list price. But when considering a 30-day lag in closing, that's probably more reflective of December negotiations. So next slide. Snohomish County. So Snohomish County January listings rose by 115% after falling 34% in December. So again, good new listing activity there. Pending transactions rose by 35% as the actual number of new listings and pending sales was similar. The inventory remained pretty consistent, 1-month supply there. Snohomish County's median list price rose by 6% in January, reaching $800,000, which is 7% above January list prices from the prior year. And on average, typical Snohomish County home is taking 41 days to sell in January, which is up from 33 days in December. Median sales price in January closed essentially equal to the list price. And then in Pierce County, new listings rose by 79% after falling in December. So again, lots of signs of life in the market for the new year. Pending transactions up 36 or 37%, and inventory pretty flat at a 1.6-month supply. Median list price rose in January, rising 8% to $539,900. And so still more affordable there, which is good news for a lot of our members buying. And year over year, list prices remain 4.8% above their January 2024 prices. So what our appraisals look like coming in? This data I think is always interesting to people. So this is just a small snapshot. This is January appraisal orders from our appraisal management companies. 153 appraisal orders, and 87 of them, or 57%, actually came in over value, which is always welcome news, right? We love making that phone call that, hey, appraisal's in and came in above value. 40% came in at value. So 97% of the time, no issues whatsoever. Occasionally, we do see them come in undervalued, but that was just 4 of them in January, or 3%. So good stuff there. And this is what we typically see or have seen in the past year as well. This is just a January snapshot, but it's pretty representative of what we've been seeing in the past year. The appraised value market is still looking really strong. So.
Thank you, Al. That's really helpful because I think there's been, I mean, I've heard that in various meetings I've been in, people asking questions about, kind of just our home value is holding enough to, if uphold appraisals. Is anybody running into appraisal issues? So I think for us, if you know, continuing to share those trends for us throughout the year, I think is really helpful and insightful to the agents as they're navigating, you know, outcomes for their clients and trying to decide what kind of contingencies and what kind of, you know, what things that they want to, you know, what kind of risks the clients want to take. Just having this data allows them to make good decisions. So we really appreciate that. And, you know, that's part of the value of this partnership as you guys continuing to provide us these insights. So thank you so much, Al. Does anybody have any questions about, or anybody on the team around anything that might come up, whether it's appraisal or anything else you're running into in the field?
Robin put a question in the chat.
Okay.
She said,
Gina?
are those mostly conventional loans or is FHA included?
This is all in, so it would be conventional FHA, jumbo portfolio. This is all purchase. So it would not include refinances in here, but anything that is a purchase transaction.
Has anybody ran into any value issues with whether it's with, you know, not necessarily BECU, but just with your clients in the past several months? I've heard it as a topic of conversation, so I was just curious if anyone had ran into that. Any other questions? I really appreciate the information. You know, I think for us to really look at this relationship as a partnership, and part of that is, and you know, just that we are empowered by having data. And so I know that we get this from a lot of different resources, but I hope that we can continue to work together and make good data informed decisions for our clients. And so we'll try to keep different aspects of that, but every quarter we're going to have something different. It might be, you know, some new opportunity or promotion that's going on within BECU. And I think we have some upcoming things that we are not ready to talk about yet, but there's going to be some exciting programs coming down the road for BECU. So as those continue to become opportunities, then we'll discuss those in more detail too. Gina, do you have anything else to add?
No, that's good. And I just want to say thank you, Al. Appreciate your time today and speaking, and also everybody else too for input questions. I really think, you know, as you're saying, it's a partnership, and however we can assist in, you know, making things better or new ideas, please share. I do see Sally's hand up. Hi, Sally.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Just one thing before we close out, I have a question for actually you and for everyone else. With the buyer's agency agreement and that change, that shift in the downward pressure towards buyer's agents' compensation, how often are we seeing our BECU clients needing to come in with extra money at closing to compensate their buyer's agency or agent, and how are we addressing that?
Oh, Sally, that's a great question. I'm gonna turn that over to Al, or anybody else that would like to share their experiences with that type of scenario if it has come up.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Great question. I don't have any hard data on that right in front of me right now, but anecdotally, I have not heard that this is a problem. I think our team is great at reviewing the purchase and sale agreements up front to head off any potential issues there and restructuring as needed. And of course, you know, the communication and partnership with all of you is the most important piece there, so that we know if they're going to be expected to bring in any extra cash to close for that compensation up front, just drawing our attention to it so we don't run into issues down the road. But I think we're all managing that really well.
Sally, I'll give you just a little like high level, just because I see a lot of brokers and a lot of contracts, is that, you know, generally speaking, and we're still seeing, you know, a high level of willingness to, you know, for sellers to participate, you know, should you as you negotiate through the process. I still believe that you're representing your client, and your client has affirmed to you, how you've told your client how much you charge for your services, and there's value in your services. So ultimately, I think that expectation just has to be set early on, and then navigating the best outcome for them possible. Sometimes that does culminate in the client having to, participate in that, depending on the particular transaction. I would say it's still more uncommon than not, but it does happen. But, from a perspective as just holistically, I think, that I haven't seen any issues. We haven't had any really negative feedback from clients, as long as that's communicated and articulated at the beginning of the process, and that you have a really good buyer consultation with them up front.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any experiences that you guys are seeing around buyer agency that you want to share? Ben Peltz, you guys, yeah.
Yeah, I think knowing your buyer's ability to cover that if necessary is really important to know upfront. So you know how, if for some reason you had to negotiate that in a purchase and sale agreement, how much of a priority that is over other elements. So
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, good point.
Thank
It's
you for
my
asking that. We actually thought about having that be a topic today, but we had a lot of other topics, so I appreciate you asking that, Sally. I know that continues to be, and something we're navigating, and just we're all still kind of developing like what our cadence is around how we present that to our customers, and so I appreciate you asking that. Robin?
getting comfortable with that is huge. And to our loan officers, it's my understanding that Fannie and Freddie now will allow the seller to participate at a higher level in order to compensate for that. Is that correct? So long as it appraises out, so long as the property meets the appraisal, and there's room there that the seller can participate at higher values than they ever could in the past, in order to take up that slack.
So I can attempt to answer that.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so interested, I think you're referring to interested party contributions. We call them the IPCs, where the seller, instead of the agent, is giving some rebate on there. I don't know that the rules have changed on it, but Fannie Mae does allow quite a bit of latitude. You're right. If the property appraises out in how much we can use for rebate pricing. Sometimes the challenge is making sure that we cover all of that. But our underwriting team is well trained, and our originators are, in taking a look at that and seeing how much of seller contribution can we put towards the closing cost, prepaid, escrow, everything else, so we can offset some of that extra cash to close the buyer might have to come up with. So.
Thanks, Al. Robin, did you have something? You're on mute.
Oh, thanks. I was just going to add that I've seen it where, as long as it appraises, it's been added to the purchase price. So the seller may have the 2.5, I have the contract for 3, and I'm seeing the price get raised, and then that helps offset. So it comes down to just what that other lady was saying about the appraisal.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that really, and Gina and I talked about this a lot, because of the complexity that the kind of some of the shifts in buyer agency has added, that it's just you need to have a real the mortgage loan officer and the originator and the broker need to have really comprehensive partnership, throughout the whole process with the client. Like, they go through the pre-approval process, but as your client is looking, continuing to be in touch to make sure that we understand what the client is qualified to do, and then that the contract is in alignment with, the expectations of the client and their ability.
The discussions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Thank you. Anything else? Those are really, I appreciate those topics. That's awesome.
I have a question from Johnny Bucalis, because he was too scared to put anything in the chat. Gina, this is probably a question for you. He was curious if there's any social media stuff that he can post about how he's a BECU preferred agent, or is that something that he's supposed to do with his lender?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. So with our co-marketing activities, we allow the social media portion for co-branded flyers for homebuyer classes. That's about it due to RESPA, because that's really the educational value per se. Okay. So if the real estate agent is participating in our co-marketing activities by signing the agreement, that can happen. Other than that, we want to stay away from any exclusivity or endorsement marketing or conversations, because as we all know with RESPA, we work with all lenders, work with all real estate agents, and likewise. So really marketing that a preferred real estate agent with a lender is not advisable because of RESPA.
There's other
Yeah.
co-marketing activities, and I would advise any agents interested in those to reach out to either their MLO or to Gina directly, and they can partner on it, talk about what that looks like and what that path is. That's great.
Yeah, great question. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Anything else? Otherwise, I think we're pretty much close on our time here. I really appreciate all of you. We really appreciate the opportunity to celebrate and recognize the achievements, and we are looking forward to seeing you again next quarter. But in the meantime, please reach out to your MLO for the agents, and look at opportunities, whether it's co-marketing, home buyer classes. Make sure we're checking in, because we are getting in the spring season. If a lot of us had clients that we have partnered together, and they've kind of been sitting on the sidelines. It's a good time to have a little 15-minute check-in on those clients too, because as we kind of have seen some improvement in the rate environment over the last weekish, we're going to see some clients that want to go out and start looking again. So we want to make sure we're prepared to do that. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you.